It's probably one of India's favorite one-pot meals, and absolutely every household has its own version. Really, there are a few secrets to making a super pulao. That's coming up. If you find value in what we do, then consider subscribing to our channel and press the bell icon to stay notified whenever we make a new upload. Hey everyone, I'm Chef Aaditya Bal and welcome to my kitchen, where I share with you some of my favorite recipes, cooking techniques, tips, tricks and know-how to help you become a better cook. Today we are going to be making, like I said, the ultimate one-pot meal, alright, a proper pulao, right? I've chosen to make a simple yet delicious Punjabi style mutton keema pulao. So it's a little bit different because it's got mince, but you'll see that the end result is going to be absolutely delicious. I'm sure it's going to be a recipe that you're going to really want to make in your homes as well. So without further ado, let's get down to checking out our ingredients for our Punjabi mutton keema pulao. So let's take a look at our ingredient list for our delicious Punjabi keema pulao. There we have it, fairly simple. Here's our mutton mince, half a kg with about 20% fat to meat, 450 grams of rice which we're gonna wash and soak, all of our lovely and really aromatic warm spices, and just to add a little bit of heat and that delicate flavor to our pulao. Onions, garlic, nice ripe tomatoes, hot green chilies, some fresh ginger, and of course our spice powders, salt, lovely Kashmiri chili for color, turmeric, and our cooking medium, which is mustard oil. So let's start with prepping up our aromatics. I'm just going to peel and slice up these onions. Really simple. Like I was saying, it's one of those simple one-pot meals, but if you take a little bit of care while making this dish, you really get incredible results. Right, so we're going to start by simply slicing up our onions for our masala. Just simply julienne them, keep them aside, and then we're going to dice those wonderful ripe red tomatoes. Very simple. Keep them aside. Right, so we finished chopping our onions and our tomatoes. The next thing we want to do is make up a paste of our ginger, garlic and green chilies. Okay, a nice coarse paste. So let's get down to making it. Put the garlic, ginger and green chilies into a mortar. Add a little bit of salt to help it all grind down, and then we're just going to bash it and break it down and grind it to a nice and really fragrant coarse paste. That's done. Right, so let's keep all of our aromatics and paste aside with our tomatoes. Right, so we've prepped our aromatics, chopped up our tomatoes. Now we are ready to cook the keema, and then of course we're going to add our soaked rice and cook through our pulao. Okay, heat a heavy cooking vessel, and to that we're going to add our mustard oil. We want to burn it off nicely. Okay, smoke it out until it's almost clear in color. Lovely, that's done. Now to our lovely fragrant mustard oil, we're going to add our whole spices and then just saute them for a few minutes until they are crackling and nice and fragrant. Lovely, that's beautiful. Okay, so in go our sliced onions, a little bit of salt just to help release the moisture from the onions, right? And then we're just going to again saute them over a medium-high heat until they are soft and translucent and they've begun to brown nicely. So as you can see, our onions have now begun to slightly caramelize. That have begun to take on a little bit of color. Lovely. So our onions have caramelized nicely. They're a light golden brown in color. In goes our ground aromatic paste, a little bit of salt again to help release the moisture, and then we're gonna saute them all together until our aromatics are cooked out and that raw aroma of the garlic and the ginger has subsided. Okay, so continue to saute them until our aromatics and onions are a nice light golden brown in color and really nice and fragrant. Okay, that is done. Perfect. Right, so to this we're going to add our powdered spices. So we are creating that depth of flavor by bhunoing our masala out, right? Aromatics, onions with our spice powders as well. So all of those spice powders go in. Lovely, both the chilies, one for color, one for heat. In goes the salt. So remember, when we're making the pulao, because it's got the rice in it as well, we need to flavor that rice. So you need to add a little extra of your masalas and your aromatics, okay? So if you were just making keema, you'd add maybe half a teaspoon each of your powdered spices. In this case, a good generous heaped teaspoon of each would do just fine because it needs to flavor the rice. Right, so we've added our powdered spices and our salt. Now we're just going to toast them along with the aromatics until the masala is a nice deep dark brown in color and our spices are nicely toasted out. Okay, into this we're going to add our chopped tomatoes and now just fry them and saute them all together on a nice medium high heat until they are nice and smoky and the tomatoes have begun to break down and release their moisture. That is looking fabulous. Okay, so our tomatoes have broken down, released some of their moisture. Now to the pan we're going to add a little bit of water and then nicely deglaze the pan, right? Scrape off all of those lovely pan residues and incorporate them into our masala. Lovely, we can do this on a nice medium high heat, right? The idea being to cook out the masala and of course to break down those tomatoes until they're nice and disintegrated. Then we're just going to cover it and let it cook away for a good 5 to 7 minutes until our tomatoes are nicely broken down. Lovely, that smells amazing. Look at that, the tomatoes have now broken down nicely. Superb. Okay, just a little more water and then we can just cook it out for a few more minutes until the tomatoes are fully broken down and the oil has surfaced. Our masala is cooked and ready for our mince. Into our masala goes our mutton mince. Half a kg of mince, quarter teaspoon of salt. Mix it in to the masala. Okay, just break it in. So we're just going to mix the mince into the masala. All right, continue to kind of lightly cook it until it changes color from raw to that very light brown color. Nicely coat it in the masala. So no overcooking the keema, otherwise by the time it cooks with the rice, it's going to be totally overcooked. 5 to 7 minutes and then let's cook it with the rice. I have to tell you, it smells absolutely wonderful. So our keema is now nicely browned and half cooked. So the keema has changed color. All right, we're just gonna cover it and let it cook for 5 to 7 minutes, and then it'll be time to add our rice and cook them both together. So while the keema is cooking away in its own juices and really kind of developing its flavor, we can strain out our washed and soaked rice and keep it ready to add to our lovely cooked keema. So let's check on our keema. It should be about 30 to 35% cooked by now. Wow, that smells amazing. So our keema has been cooking away for a good 5 to 7 minutes, and it is now, so our keema is now, like I said, about 30-35% done. Smells fabulous. It's taken on a nice bit of rich brown color. To this we're going to add our soaked rice, okay, 450 grams, and then we're gently gonna mix it in. That's it, just mix it in. Salt for the rice as well, so a good half a teaspoon more of salt. Just gently mix it in. So we've added our soaked rice to our lovely and part cooked mince. Alright, I've turned up the heat. It's now calling out for some liquid or water. Okay, so like I said, just fry the rice along with the mince until it's nice and toasted, and then we're just gonna add the water and then just let it cook. Right, so time for us to add our boiling water to our rice and mince mixture. Okay, you want to make sure it's exactly double the quantity of the rice. So in this case, about 4.5 to 5 cups of the rice. Make sure the cup is the same that you used for measuring the rice. Bring it to a boil, add a little bit of salt. Lovely. So bring it to a boil, like I said, and then just cover it, and we're gonna let it cook away for a good 10 to 12 minutes, at which point we can check on our pulao and then cook it out till it's perfectly done. Well, our pulao has been cooking away for a good, almost 10 to 11 minutes, and since we had soaked the rice for over an hour, because it took me that long frankly to make the rest of it, we're gonna check on it and see exactly what's going on. Okay, so quite frankly, I always get a little bit nervous when making a pulao, whether the water is exactly right or it's too little or it's too much. You know, it really makes a lot of difference. So let's check on it, and then we'll know exactly how much we need to cook it. Okay, how much more we need to cook it. Okay, fingers crossed. So it's been about 10 to 12 minutes and that smells amazing, but as you can see, there is water bubbling up to the surface, so that means there's still a fair amount of moisture in our pulao, and the rice is about 70% done. So cover it and let it cook away for another 8 to 10 minutes. Yes, until the rice is done. The moisture, as you can see, still a little bit of water at the base, but the rice is now nice and almost ready. So it's been about 18 minutes since we've added our rice and our water to it. The rice and pulao has been cooking away 18 minutes or so now, and it is almost done. There's just a little bit more water, okay, little bit of moisture still at the base of the pulao that needs to be absorbed by the rice. So we're going to cover it and let it cook for another 5 to 7 minutes, and now as you can see, the rice is perfectly done. Okay, remember to cook it out on a low heat towards the end of the cooking so that you don't scorch the rice at the base. We're going to cover it, let it rest for about 10 minutes for the rice to fluff up, and with that, our pulao is absolutely perfectly done. Look at that rice, every grain is nice and what can you say, it's retained its shape. Oh, lovely. Look at that moisture, all the rice coated in the wonderful flavors of the mince and of course our lovely Punjabi masala. We're just going to garnish it with some fresh coriander, maybe a couple of green chilies thrown in on top to kind of enjoy with our pulao. Right, so serve your Punjabi Keema Pulao with a fresh raita and some salad and enjoy this pulao. The rice is nice and separated, it's retained all of its structure, and of course all of those wonderful aromas of the mince and our masala coming through. I'm just gonna of course give it a small taste. Oh ho ho ho. Keema, it's not overcooked and just perfect, right? The rice really nice and flavorsome. It's absorbed all of the flavors of that masala, and I think overall we've done it a great justice today to this delicate one pot meal. So I really hope that you make this recipe in your home and that you enjoy it with your friends and your family. If you enjoyed this recipe and you're enjoying the recipes we're bringing you here on this channel, then please do like, share and subscribe to our channel if you wish to do so. Of course, I will be back with more exciting recipes such as this from around the country and the globe. But till then, happy cooking.